What's going on, brother? Shalom. Welcome back to the Set Apart Man, where we help men of Yahweh walk in purpose, power, and discipline in a world that's constantly trying to pull us away from his truth. Now, let me ask you this. How many times have you looked around and felt behind as a man? Like, no matter how hard you work, you're still playing catch up, whether it's money, status, or success. See, today's culture teaches us that being a man means always chasing more money, more women, more cars, more status. But here's the truth, brothers. The set apart man prospers not because he chases more, but because he's content with what Yahweh has already given him. If you're tired of feeling like you're on a hamster wheel that never stops, this message is for you. But before we get into it, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel to join the brotherhood of set apart men, and drop a comment below answering this question. What is one thing in your life right now that you've been overlooking because you've been too focused on what you don't have? Let's build in the comments. Iron sharpens iron. Let's talk about it.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave like everyone else. You were born into bondage. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
All praise to the Most High Yah Shalom. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Set Apart Man. Once again, I'm back at it in them trenches, handling that kingdom business. Now, let's be real. We're living in a time where contentment is almost considered weakness. The world tells you that if you're not grinding 24/7, if you're not flexing on social media, or if you're not trying to level up every single month, you're falling behind. But here's the problem. That mindset isn't from Yahweh. It's from the enemy. The Most High commands us in Exodus chapter 20, verse 17, you shall not covet your neighbor's house, nor his wife, nor his servant, nor his ox, nor anything that's your neighbor's. Why? Because covetousness, that hunger to have what is someone else's, breeds discontentment. It makes you blind to your own blessings. Men who fall into that trap start working themselves to death, chasing validation instead of purpose. They end up tired, bitter, and broke, not just financially, but spiritually. Meanwhile, the set apart man, he moves different. He understands that peace is prosperity when it's rooted in obedience to Yahweh. I want to talk to you a little bit about how covetous leads to financial struggle. Let's break it down practically. When a man isn't content, he'll always overspend, overwork, and overcommit. He'll buy things to impress people who don't care about him. He'll take on debt to look successful. He'll invest time and energy into chasing what he thinks will make him whole, but it never does. The truth is, men who aren't content will always be poor, no matter how much money they make, because financial stability isn't about the amount, it's about stewardship. That's why Proverbs chapter 15, verse 16 says, better is a little with the fear of Yahweh than a great treasure with trouble. See, the set apart man prospers not because he has more, but because he's grateful for what he already has and he manages it wisely. He tithes when others hoard. He rests on the Sabbath when others burn out. He says no to comparison because his identity comes from Yahweh, not on Instagram or any other social media platform. Young men, if you don't understand anything else, I want to stress the power of contentment, a hidden blessing. Let's talk about contentment for a second, because it's one of the most misunderstood virtues in manhood today. Contentment doesn't mean you're lazy or unmotivated. It means you're still at peace while working towards your goals. The Apostle Paul said in Philippians chapter 4, verse 11 through 13, I have learned in whatever state I am to be content. I know how to be abased, and I know how to be abound. I can do all things through Messiah who strengthens me. Notice when Paul says he learned it. That means it takes training. It takes discipline to be satisfied in a world that constantly tells you you're not enough. And that's what makes the set apart man different. He's not hustling for validation. He's working from a place of peace. He knows that Yah will provides. He trusts that if he's obedient, Yah will add things unto him in due time. When you live like that, you stop comparing, you stop complaining, and you start completing your assignment. A lot of men think working 7 days is the key to getting them all the success, the wealth, and the money, and you're working yourself to death while violating the instructions of the Most High. The Sabbath is not a recommendation, the Sabbath is principle, Yah's blueprint for contentment. Here's where it all comes together: the 7 day Sabbath. The Sabbath isn't just about rest, it's about trust. When a man keeps the Sabbath, he's declaring to the world, I don't have to grind endlessly to survive. My provider is Yahweh. That's powerful. Every week, Yah gives us a reset button, a chance to rest, reflect, and realign. But the world says no days off. The world says sleep when you're dead. And look around, that's exactly what's happening. Men are working themselves to death, chasing after things that will never fill the void in their soul. But the set apart man, he understands that Yah blesses obedience, not overwork. That rest is a part of righteousness. That contentment brings clarity. When you stop chasing, you start receiving. I want to drive home and emphasize the blessings that follow a man with a content spirit. Here's what happens when you embrace contentment as a man of Yahweh. Your mind becomes clear. You can make better financial and spiritual decisions. Your heart finds peace. You stop comparing your journey to others. Your resources multiply because you stop wasting time on money trying to prove something. Your faith deepens. You trust Yahweh to supply all your needs according to his riches, not your grind. Psalms chapter 37 verse 16 says it best. A little that a righteous man has is better than the riches of many wicked, because that little in Yah's hands becomes much. So brothers, as you move forward this week, ask yourself, am I living with contentment or am I chasing comparison? Because one brings peace and the other brings pain. Remember this, Yahweh never told you to be rich, he told you to be righteous. And when you walk in righteousness, he takes care of the rest. If this message spoke to you, drop a comment down below and let me know what's one area of your life where you need to practice more contentment. Hit that like button if this encouraged you. Subscribe if you're ready to walk as a set apart man. And share this video with another brother who's caught up in the grind. Because the truth is, prosperity isn't about having more, it's about needing less. Once again, this is the Set Apart Man, kicking it gun barrel straight. Until next time, stay set apart, stay disciplined, and stay in Yah's word. Bow.